Okay, it is 5 minutes after 2, and we're going to go ahead and begin. I hope you are all doing well. Again, this is Tony Lajeunesse, and we're doing our Savvy Cybersecurity webinar today. And as you know, there are a ton of scams going on related to this coronavirus and other items as well. And I'm going to share with you some very practical steps that you can take to protect yourself from some of these scams. And ones that I'm going to share with you, some that have even been sent to me. I'm going to have that in our slides as well. As we go through this presentation, I do want you to be aware of a couple of things. There will be a replay of this. That will be emailed out to everybody. But the replay will also be available on our Facebook page. So if you haven't gone to our Facebook page, please do that so that and register there so that you can get timely information from our Facebook page as well. And we also have a YouTube channel set up as well, and you can look for us there at TL Financial Group. I do want to make this interactive as much as possible. I do have you all on mute, but there is a Q&A option that you can use. There should be a Q&A on your screen, and I believe that if you click on that, you'll be able to ask the question. It'll pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer it so that everybody can hear what the answer is. What else do I have here? So again, we're going to review past and current cyber threats, things that you should be aware of, as there's so many of these scams going on out there. So I just want to make sure you guys are well protected. And also too, I believe that as we are been interacting with you guys frequently here lately, I want to make sure that we do have your most recent updated email address. So if we don't have that, please contact Robin and make sure we have that most recent updated email address. We are going to be doing another economic outlook. I've got that planned for the second week of April. I don't have the specific date yet. I'm still waiting for more economic data to come out. And once I compile that, I'll be able to put it all together, and we'll look to having it somewhere after the 10th of April. So keep a tight eye open for that, as that will be a very important one as we kind of navigate the stock market and where we kind of believe things are headed. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and get started here. So let me make sure I got this right. Here we go. Okay. 2 seconds. That's how often someone becomes a victim of identity theft. Last year, 2019, there were over 14 million victims of identity theft and fraud. Are you one of those 14 million? Has your personal information been exposed in a data breach or hack? The statistics say that you most likely have been. The past few years have been giving us a record-breaking amount of breaches. So you see only a few of the big ones listed here. The Marriott hotel chain exposed data on 500 million guests in a recent breach. The credit reporting agency Equifax suffered a massive breach that affected 143 million Americans. And then Yahoo took first place for the biggest breach in history with news of the hack that affected every single Yahoo account. That's about 3 billion users. And these are only some of the breaches that occurred in the last few years. So in addition, new threats are exposed every day. So even as we sit here now, a vast array of cyber attacks are pounding at the walls of security networks built to protect you and your digital persona on the internet. And what I'm going to say next sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's completely true. A world of dark forces and criminal networks conspire day and night to steal your username and passwords. They want to obtain your social security number, open credit cards in your name, drain your bank accounts, and seize your computer and hold it for ransom. The authors of the book Cybersecurity and Cyber War contend that a cyber world war is underway and we're all involved in it. Our biggest problem, they say, is that we face a cybersecurity knowledge gap. And that's why I'm here sharing this with you today. I'm worried for all of us, myself, my family, our clients, and the community. It's a serious growing problem, but I don't think it has to be a reason for despair, because most people don't realize how vulnerable they are or what they can do to maximize their security. So by the end of this presentation today, I guarantee you, you'll leave better prepared to protect yourself, your family, and your business from the quietly raging cyber wars that are targeting all of us. So today, I want to help you create your personal cybersecurity system that will keep you and your family safe. This is so important. First, you're going to take a short quiz right now to determine your current cybersecurity score. Well, actually, we'll do that in just a moment. Then once you know your vulnerabilities, I'll teach you the new cybersecurity rules. These are actions you can take that will boost your score. At the end of the presentation, you'll want to fill out your action pledge, and you'll pick 3 actions to take right away and sign and date the form. Okay, part 1, discovering your score. All right, you guys should all have this. This is that card that was either emailed to you or came in physical form when we first originally had the cybersecurity class scheduled in Wyandotte, which of course we can no longer do. So some of you had it physically mailed to you, others have it emailed. So pull this out and take a look at this scorecard. And what I want you to do is, through each question there on the left-hand side, answer these questions with a yes or a no, okay? And then what I want you to do is add up your points and determine your rating by looking at part B. Don't be discouraged if the score is low. Most people do. And they end up having a low score, but that's okay. Knowing where you stand is the first step in creating your cybersecurity plan. So I'm going to give you a few minutes there to do that. And I'm going to put myself on mute, and I will be back in just a few minutes. Give you about 3 minutes to fill that out. Okay, I am back, and hopefully you have all of that completed, and hopefully your score isn't too bad, but that's the reason why we're doing this, right? We want to improve that score. So let's go ahead and look at part 2, learn the new cybersecurity rules. So I believe that you can develop 3 cybersecurity mindsets to strengthen and maintain your cybersecurity so that staying safe is is very, very simple. The three mindsets cover various parts of your life and overlap to form a sweet spot of actions that will boost your cybersecurity score. So each mindset alone provides greater security, but the combination of the three really makes you secure. So the mindsets are secrecy, omniscience, and mindfulness. Each mindset contains a group of actions for people to take called the new cybersecurity rules. So I'm going to explain all three mindsets and the associated rules, but let's take a look at the first mindset first. We all need more secrecy in our lives, and that is why our first key idea is adopting a new level of secrecy that can boost your security and your cyber confidence. Now, the secrecy mindset entails keeping your personal and private data private. With all the massive amounts of data breaches suffered by corporations and governments, we need to act as if our personal data already exists in the hands of cyber criminals, because it likely does. So we all need to draw a tighter ring of security around our personal data, and that starts with your email. So our email addresses are key to our digital lives. We share it with countless businesses, organizations, and people. If you use the internet for any amount of time, you have entered your email address at a host of online accounts for shopping, traveling, exercising, gaming, dating, and more. We just don't think twice. But having your email addresses in so many databases puts you at a significant risk. Hackers routinely breach the security networks of many organizations that hold your primary email address. That stolen personal data, paired with poor email security, leads to disaster. So Robert Siciliano, CEO of IdentityTheftSecurity.com and Security Writer, explains this. It says, "It has been said that if you own a person's email, you can own the person. This means that once your email is hacked, pretty much your entire digital life is up for grabs." That could be scary. So even if you've done your due diligence to have all your passwords be different, if your email is hacked and it's associated with your other online accounts, the hacker could simply use a reset password and get access to all your other accounts. I'm going to read this to you. This is a story about a professor and a software security expert, Herbert Thompson. And I found this super, super interesting. That helps kind of put this, the need to have your email secured in focus. This is really important. So Thompson, who's this security expert, he bet a friend of his that he could hack into her bank account. So with her permission, he began. He first simply Googled her name and stumbled upon her blog and an old resume. From the blog, he got her personal email address and her old college email address from her resume. Now he was on his way. Thompson was able to use the forgot my password feature on her college email account to get it in using the personal information listed on her resume. So he used all that important information that they ask you questions about yourself from her resume. Once he reset that password, he was able to reset her current email address, having the link sent to her college email. Once he was in her personal email, he could reset her online banking password. That is just amazing that that can happen. Now, you may not care if someone hacks into your Food Network or Yelp account, but you certainly don't want your online banking exposed in the same way. This is why you need to create a separate, secret email for your financial accounts only. This email address should be unidentifiable. Don't use your first name, your last name, initials, or other identifying information. It should also be protected by a strong and unique password. So a separate email address reduces your digital footprint, and if your primary non-financial email address is exposed in a hack, it will not be connected to your financial accounts. So this is a key step in boosting your security. It's a really important step to take. Okay, and our email addresses need to be protected by a good, strong password. But we all face something called the password paradox. Easy to remember passwords are easy to break. Hard to break passwords are hard to remember. Many passwords we use are child's play for hackers. Computer power gets stronger with each passing year. That means the bad guys can figure out your password in no time flat. How long does it take for a computer to hack 1,000 weak passwords? Just 17 minutes. That's all it takes. One reason for this is that people choose passwords that have less than 6 characters, or they use names or dictionary words or other common passwords like the word password and or the numerical numbers all in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I typically, when I'm conducting these classes, I can see everybody and I can see their reactions. And usually I see a couple people smiling like, yeah, that's me. And I'm wondering if there's some of you out there right now that are doing that right now, because you really need to make sure that that password is going to be super strong and super well protected. And I'm going to share a couple apps, one that we actually use at our office and one that I use personally. Actually, I use both, but I'll share those with you in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to read this story. And the reason, let me back up just really quick. The reason these apps are really important for the security of your passwords is because we have so many different passwords to so many different types of accounts, right? Like I had mentioned earlier, Yelp, Facebook, Food Network. I'm gonna pull up my phone right now and just look at I have the secure app, and I'm gonna look here, and I have 165 different login and email and passwords. So 165 different ones. You guys may not have that many, but I'm sure you have over 10 or 15, probably over 20. But let me read this really quick. This is a creative director, Marcio Estrella. He took the password paradox head on. This is what he did following his divorce. He wanted to focus on positive aspects of his life. So instead of being annoyed when he had to change his password every 30 days for work, he decided to make a challenge. So every 30 days, he would choose a new goal and turn that into his password. So for example, his first password was forgive, and then the @ symbol, and then the letter H3R. And that was obviously directed at his ex-wife. After 30 days, he changed his password to quit smoking, all one word, capital Q, and then the number 4, and then VER. And he did, he quit smoking. But that's a pretty strong password. He found a way to take ordinary passwords and improve his life by changing it every 30 days. There are other ways to think about passwords as well. You can also create a mnemonic phrase with numbers or symbols thrown in. For instance, someone I know takes the first line of a prayer she says every day and uses the first letter of each of the first 10 words of that prayer. She'll add in some numbers and symbols, and that ends up being a super, super strong password. Or you could use a poem, song, lyrics, or a phrase. And you can see an example there on your screen. Or you could try this. You can create a password that embodies a goal that you're trying to reach, such as exercising, quitting smoking, saving money. This is especially good when you need to change your password every 6 months. And those are difficult to remember, but I'm going to share these apps with you in just a second, okay? Each time you type your password, though, instead of it being a negative drag on your brain, it will positively reinforce your specific goal. And you can see an example there. You can get as creative as you like. Remember to drop out some letters and replace them with symbols to boost your password strength. By the way, on the back of your Savvy Cybersecurity reference guide, there's a letter to symbol conversion chart there to help you. Another technique is called diceware method. You see that up there on the screen. Here what you do is you roll a die 5 times and recording each number. And then what happens is you repeat that process 4 more times so that you have a 5-digit numbers. Then go to www.diceware.com and match your 5-digit numbers to the list of 7,776 word list. Those random 5 words become your password. Now, you might be thinking, how in the heck am I going to remember all of this, right? So we all know the amount of passwords we have are growing. Like I mentioned a moment ago, I have 165 different login and passwords. So it's nearly impossible to remember a unique and strong password for each and every one of our accounts, which is why I recommend using a password manager. We use at the office, it's called LastPass, LAST space PASS. So PA Sam. And then that is a password protector app. And all you need to remember is the password to get into that app. And then once you're in, then you can go ahead and create all of your username and passwords for all the different websites or login information that you have. And everything's in one secure spot. Another app that you can use, and a lot of these are free, you guys, they do offer the ability to pay for advanced features. Some people are power users on those things, and some of the advanced features are really nice, but it's not 100% necessary. The other one is called 1Password, so it's the numerical number 1 and then password. And I use that one on my phone, and we use LastPass at the office, and I use LastPass for my 85-year-old father and 82-year-old mother, because I want to make sure that ultimately when they pass away, that I'm able to close out their Amazon account, their Facebook account, their Macy's account. You know, the list is actually pretty long. So if you have a loved one and you're basically the executor or the person who's been put in the most amount of trust with them, try to encourage them to do something like that so that you can have access to those accounts, so that you can help close them down when necessary, and or just help your loved one, remember and keep track of all this stuff, because they can be, it can be overwhelming and can be a whole lot. So those apps are very strong. They're very good. Look them up. And if you have any questions about it, just, I do have a question here. Aren't password management apps prone to hacking? Yeah, but they're very difficult to get into. They're have many screens on top of them, layers of protection, more so than you keeping it in your notes on your iPhone or in other areas. So I don't have all the details on how they do their layering, but I know that they're super, super strong. Okay, so that's an excellent question. Thank you for presenting that. Okay, so now the next step is creating strong passwords is just the first step to your account protection plan. We need to put another layer of security on all other important accounts, such as email, online banking, social media, and more. So that extra layer is a relatively new trend in online security called two-step verification, or sometimes called two-factor authentication. So it should be added to any account you have that supports the technology. So how does this work? With this approach, when you start to log in to an account online, you're sent a short-lived one-time passcode. Many of you may have already experienced this. You must use that code to finish logging in. You can receive this code via text message or something called an authenticator app. The authenticator app is the most secure option, as it is more difficult for hackers to compromise So some popular authenticator apps are Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator. I personally don't have experience with these two, but I do have a lot of experience using the two-step verification methodology. A lot of the companies that I work with always require that passcode as I'm trying to log in. They'll send me a verification code just verifying that it's me, and it comes right to my cell phone. I copy that number and I put it in there, and then I'm able to go in. These methods stop your accounts from getting hacked because it requires two separate things. Something you know, your password, and something that you physically have, which is the temporary code on your phone. So even if a hacker has your password, he won't gain access, and you'll be alerted if someone is trying to break into your account. So if you get a code and you haven't tried to log in, you know something's going on. So at that point, you'll want to change your password. And you don't have to worry about entering a code every time that you log into your account from your device. On many sites, you can designate that your device is a safe device where you only need to enter the verification code every 30 days when logging on from that device. Okay, this is super important. Now that we know how to lock down our passwords, it's time to talk about when it's safe to log into those accounts. Now, it's certainly true that we all love free internet access, and when we're out and about, we want to be connected. But that free connection can end up being super, super costly, all right? These free networks are completely open, and hackers can gain access to anything you do while connected. Your email, credit card number, your bank account, you see the pattern here. It could be super, super bad. So when you're connected to free public Wi-Fi, avoid making financial transactions or checking your email, because that is a very unsecured network. I do have a question coming in, and I'm reading it right now. It says, my credit union and Zeal Dearborn manager says that they no longer do verbal passcode. Okay, I can understand that. I didn't think to ask her why, but I did email Zeal asking why haven't we heard back. Have you heard of why it would be an issue? No, not necessarily. I know that the two authentication methodology is becoming more and more prevalent, but I'll also tell you that with my credit union, what I do, and I do this with my credit cards too, and I was just going to get to it in just a second, but I'll mention it now. What I do on my checking and my savings, my investment accounts, and my credit cards, anytime a purchase is made, I get a notification, okay? So I set that up so that I'm notified, so I know where my wife is at. So if she's at like Macy's or Home Goods, if she loves going to Home Goods, I know she's there. I'm just kidding. I really want to make sure that I have that notification so that I know what's happening with our accounts. So you can have things set up. Your credit union should be able to do it, your bank, your credit card. You can all go contact them. You can go into your account online and set up those notifications. And that's what you're looking for, is notifications. And if you don't know how to do that, talk to someone at your institution that can help you do that, because you want to be notified. If you get a purchase that you're not aware of, then you want to make sure that you're going to be well protected. Next question coming in, before we get on to the next slide, does our wealth management tool have the ability for two-step verification? You know, it's an excellent question, and I believe so, but I am going to check with Kat on that to confirm. So let me write that down. But I believe it does have two-step. And I will get back to you on that. Great question. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here. So you look here at the second bullet point. Use your smartphone as a hotspot. So if you want to use your iPad and you don't want to connect to, it could be anything, your laptop or whatever, you can use your phone's cellular network in most cases as a hotspot. So you can log right in to your cellular network, and that is far more secure than using a free Wi-Fi hotspot, okay? What's also really important though is that your phone has a name on it, okay? And when you, like for example, if I open up my phone's Wi-Fi network and I'm scanning to join a network, it will show me the available networks. I travel often, or used to, and going to many conferences, and I'll pull out my phone and I'll open up my Wi-Fi network to get on the Wi-Fi, or I'm using my iPad. And guess what I'm discovering when I do that? I'm seeing other people's phones and the names of those people that are near me with their network open. That doesn't necessarily mean that I can join their network, but I can see their name. And if I'm a hacker, I might be able to click on that name and hack into their phone using a password, okay? So I want to make sure that you guys are well protected. So I'm going to show you this slide here. This is the phone name of a friend of mine. And what he did is on his iPhone, he went to settings, then he clicked on general, and then you click on the term about, and then you click on name. And then what you do is you see here, this person changed the name of their phone to Virus Alert 2. And the reason they did that was to hopefully stop any attempts from somebody trying to log into their phone. So check your phones. This is really important. Check your phone, go to settings, click on general, then click on about. For Samsung, I don't know how it works with Samsung, but if the name of your phone is your first and your last name, that information can be public to people who are looking, okay? And you may not be aware of that. So today, a lot of us use our phones in our cars that connect to our computers in our cars. And you know, we do CarPlay, or we just plug in, and you know, parts of our music and texting is now done through the cars, and many of you are aware of this, how this works. Make sure you double check the name of your phone and don't list it as your first and last name. Do something like this, or it says virus alert or something of that nature. Samsung is under settings and then about phone. Okay, that just came in to me. Samsung is under settings and then about phone, and that's where you can change that, okay? Also, this came in, if you have a Comcast modem and you don't go in and turn off Wi-Fi hotspot, people can connect to your home network also, okay? And that's exactly what we're going to get into next. So, secure your home Wi-Fi network to keep hackers out. Thank you for that comment for the Comcast modem. Your timing was perfect. So, what about your home Wi-Fi network? Your home wireless network can open doors to you and your family's digital life if your router is not properly protected. There are 4 main things you must do to lock down your router and Wi-Fi network from the hackers. Now, I'll warn you, these are some of the more technical actions you'll have to take. So don't be discouraged if it sounds very difficult to you. If you're confused, I advise you to contact the tech person in your life for help. And that's me for my mom and dad and some of my siblings as well. But if you're confused, again, contact the tech person in your life. So to do these steps, you'll have to log into your router's IP address. And some of us might start glazing over already with this. If you don't know your router's IP address, You can find it in your user manual or by searching the make and model of your router online. So this does get a little technical, so I apologize, but I'm at least going to share it with you anyways. If you are confused, again, talk to somebody that you know that can help you with this. So I'm going to start with these 4 steps. First, what you need to do is you change the default username and password. Hackers know these and will use them to try to break into your network. So pick a strong password, and when you pick that strong password, put it inside your app that you have chosen, either 1Password or LastPass. You don't want to forget that password. You want to encrypt your router. Number 2, be sure to select the strongest encryption setting for your router. WPA2 or WPA3 are important. WEP is no longer considered secure, and you should replace your router if your only option is WEP. Thirdly, disable your Wi-Fi protected setup, which is WPS. This feature allows others to quickly connect to your network with a short passcode rather than having to type the whole password. But it can lead to strangers gaining access. So if you don't have the option to fully disable this feature, see if you can limit the number of attempts this person can make to log in. And lastly, number 4, update your router firmware. So the majority of routers come with outdated software, which leaves your network vulnerable to attacks. Updating your firmware sounds like a daunting task, but it's really not that bad. Just follow the instructions in your user manual for detailed instructions. I actually use Eero, E-E-R-O. Let me look here really quick. And what I love about my router, it's E-E-R-O. What I love about it is anybody who logs into my Wi-Fi, I get notified. So like I'll have friends that I give a guest password to, so I have, they can be on my guest network, and I get notified if they're logged in or not. It's a pretty neat feature. I can open up my app, and I'm not sure, with the other routers out there if this is a feature that's available, but I would at least look into it. So I can pull up my router app and I can see every device that's connected to my home network. So it's kind of nice. Okay. All right. Key idea number 2. We need to know what is going on with our cybersecurity at all times. That's why the second key idea is completing certain actions that can help you achieve financial cyber omniscience and thwart fraud. Okay. Achieving omniscience, and what I mean by that is financial omniscience, or all-knowingness, will put you at the center of your financial life. And that starts with using technology so you're totally aware of what funds are leaving your accounts or being charged to your accounts at all times. So set up those alert notifications. Most of all of those can be done online. And contact your bank or credit card company for that help, okay? It's really, really important that you do that. The banks know instantly when charges are made to our accounts, so why shouldn't we, right? So signing up for those instant alerts will bring you closer to achieving that omniscience mindset. Okay, now this is absolutely critical to everyone's cybersecurity. Let's see what I mean here. Now, here's something that most people don't quite understand about their credit files. By default, our credit files are open, okay? What that means is anyone with enough information to impersonate you may be able to open a new line of credit in your name. It happens all the time and is a major source of identity theft. And when you consider how many private and public organizations have been hacked, institutions that we've trusted with our social security numbers, employment history, and all the other details about our financial lives, You need to be worried about the state of your credit card, your credit file at the big three agencies. So we need to take control back of our credit life through a credit freeze. What a credit freeze locks your credit file with a PIN at each of the credit bureaus. No new credit can be issued in your name unless you lift the freeze with your special PIN that you only know, okay? You will have to contact each of the credit bureaus separately, and as of September 21st, 2018, credit freezes are free in every state thanks to a new federal law. Previously, the cost varied per state and could be up to $10 per action. So a credit freeze puts you in control. It is way more secure than credit monitoring or any other type of fraud alert. Both of alerts will alert you after the credit has been issued in your name. So a credit freeze, you can prevent the identity theft from even beginning. So instead of cleaning up after your identity theft nightmare. So this is how you can be proactive. And so at the end of the presentation, I'm going to share with you all these different scams that are going on out there. But all of those scams that are happening, like currently right now that you're seeing, all come back to this right here, you guys. If you can put a credit freeze on each of one of these bureaus, then you're going to be pretty well protected, okay? Experts say that 500,000 children suffer from identity theft every year. Why? Because their clean records are attractive to thieves looking to open new accounts without any issues, and the theft can go unnoticed for years, as parents and guardians often don't even think to check their child's records, right? Why would we? But childhood identity theft can lead to a lifetime of fraud and ruined credit. The first step in protecting your children, it is ensuring that they have no credit report by contacting all three of the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, okay? Those three right there, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Parents should send a letter, including copies of their children's birth certificates, listing them as the parent, their driver's license, and proof of address to all three credit reporting agencies, and ask for a manual search of their child's social security number. Doing that is super, super important. I have another question. I'm going to get to it in just a second. If no report is found, you're in luck. So you should still periodically check on your child's status. However, if a report is found, it's usually a sign that your child has been victimized. So ask the credit bureaus to immediately place a credit freeze on your child's record and investigate further. You can now request a credit freeze for your child in every state. Previously, it was dependent on your state of residence, but now it is a federal law. You'll again have to contact all three of the bureaus individually. So isn't there a difference? This is the question that came in. Isn't there a difference between a credit freeze and a credit lock? I'm not too sure about the terminology there, but the term that you want to use with the three reporting agencies is a credit freeze, okay? And then have that PIN for each bureau. And then if you're going to be opening up a new credit card or a new account, even if you're leasing a new vehicle or something like that, then you can allow that PIN to, you can use that PIN to temporarily unlock the freeze, and then it locks right back up again, okay? Good question. All right, number 3, our third cybersecurity key idea is to do with just mindfulness. So achieving a sense of mindfulness when it comes to cybersecurity allows you to stay alert without becoming fatigued. What does that mean? Well, we need to be more in a state of relaxed alertness when dealing with cybersecurity. Fighter pilots have an acronym for this called OODA. It stands for observation, orientation, decision, and action. Zen masters use the phrase mindfulness. So when Google completed their own analysis of a worldwide cybersecurity practices, they recommended mindfulness as a key part of their cybersecurity. Mindfulness relates to your day-to-day cybersecurity practices. So let me tell you what I mean about that. 9 out of 10 security experts say running updated software is necessary for strong security. Out-of-date software allows hackers to plant viruses and malicious software on your devices. Yet 40% of computer users don't update their software in a timely fashion. And security experts say 75 to 80% of the computer hacks they see relate to outdated software. So hackers exploit security holes in unpatched software, which allows them to install malware and viruses on your unprotected devices. This malware could record everything you do or kidnap your computer for ransom. So you want to be sure that all the software and programs on all of your devices are up to date. That includes your operating system, your browsers, Microsoft Office, Adobe programs, and more. Many programs allow you to enable auto updates, which I have on my computer. You just do auto updates, and I do that for my on my iPhone. So all my apps and my software programs update automatically. You should enable this on all of your programs that allow it. So a good place to start to see if a program will auto update is the security or setting tabs in your computer or your phone. You can always Google the name of the program and auto update. It's also a really good idea to install a good antivirus program on your computer. You'll want to make sure that it's always up to date as well. And periodically go through programs on your devices and uninstall anything that you don't use. If you haven't used it in a long time, delete it off your phone, delete it off your computer. It's just taking up unnecessary computer space. And the fewer programs you have, the fewer holes hackers will have in order to attack you. One type of malware I mentioned on the previous slide kidnaps your computer and holds it for ransom. And this is just crazy. This is called ransomware, and it's one of the biggest threats today. In this attack, hackers infect your device with a malware program that encrypts everything on your computer. You can no longer have access to any of your files. In order to get your files back, you have to pay the hackers a Bitcoin ransom. So in order to avoid paying ransom to cyber crooks, you need to follow what's called the rule of 3, meaning you need to back up all your files and data in 3 different places. The first is on your computer or device. Next, you need to save a copy of your files and data to a physical backup device, something like an external hard drive. And then lastly, you need to save your data to a cloud service like Dropbox, iCloud, or OneDrive. The cloud, as it's called, is an internet-connected server that syncs with your device. And I think more and more of us are becoming familiar with that, storing our photos and music and a lot of other files in this cloud. So ransomware attacks are normally spread, though, through a method called phishing. Now, this part is so important because phishing messages are emails that impersonate a legitimate company or person and are designed to steal your personal information or install malware on your machine through a malicious link. Hackers send out about 94 billion of these messages every single day. Most get caught in your spam filter, but some find their way to your inbox, okay? So let me read this to you. True story, and it's just astounding that it even happened, but it does. So let's learn from other people's mistakes and not ours. Listen to this story. This is straight out of the White House. The wife of John P. Holdren, assistant to former President Obama and former director of the White House Office of Science and Technology, received an email which she believed to be from her husband. It asked for the password to their Xfinity phone and internet account. Mrs. Holdren sent the password and went about her day. But she hadn't sent the password to her husband. Rather, she sent it to a political hacking group who, with the password, redirected all of the Holdren's phone calls to the Free Palestine movement line. The Holdrens joined a long list of victims, including CIA Director John Brennan and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Had Holdren's wife known the 10-second email rule I'm about to teach you, she may not have fallen for this scam. So, I mean, that is just crazy. You don't want that happening to you. So there's a 10-second cybersecurity rule that will help you fend off these phishers. The acronym is really simple, email, E-M-A-I-L, and it stands for examine, message, and inspect links. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this one step at a time. The first half of the acronym, examine message, starts with the subject line. Phishers try to get us to react quickly to an urgent situation. Oftentimes, they're going to make a subject line like something frightening, such as warning, account closed, or security alert. I'm sure you've gotten these before. Some are more subtle, but still require you to take action. For example, mail delivery failed, return message to sender, or incoming fax received. Subject lines like these should alert us, and that this may be a phishing attack. Next, we need to discover the true sender of the email. Phishers can spoof the from line to appear to be a legitimate business or organization, but you can determine the true sender by hovering your mouse over the display name. I do this all the time. I get emails from Amazon saying your account has been locked because somebody's hacking into it. Please click here to change your password. I'll hover my mouse over the email sender and it will display the lengthy name of that sender, and usually it's saying something crazy. It's not even from Amazon, okay? It looks like it's from Amazon because on the from sender it says Amazon, but when I hover my mouse over that name, I get the lengthier display of who it's actually really coming from, okay? And you should do the same. I get these from Apple, well, you know, fake Apple emails saying my account has been locked or there's unusual activity in my account. Do not click on those things, okay? Other suspicious things to look for include greetings that refer you to as customer or sir or madam instead of your name. And of course, a lot of these, you guys, they have poor grammar or they have a vague signature line with a false contact information as well. So you should always be suspicious of unsolicited emails with attachments. Never click to open to an unsolicited attachment. What presents itself as a resume, receipt, or payment could be what's called a .exe file that plants a virus on your computer or seizes it for ransom. Now, you're looking at this slide now, and this is what I'm going to be discussing. So the second part of the 10-second email rule has to do with the links in the message. So I'm going to read this to you. This is a story from a British journalist, Jane Corbin, who was less than an hour away from an important deadline for a documentary she was working on. So she was multitasking, right? She was doing multiple things at one time. And then she suddenly spotted an email from Yahoo. It told her to confirm her account details immediately or her account would be shut down. Under pressure and needing important documents in her email, Corbin clicked on the link and filled in the personal information. Immediately, her screen went blank. She had been phished. The phishers then attack their new targets. Corbin's email contacts, more than 1,000 people in her email address book received an email from Corbin's account, listen to this, saying that she was robbed at a hotel in Spain and she needed money. Corbin was locked out of her computer and was forced to close her banking accounts. if she just waited 10 seconds and examined the Yahoo message more closely, she could have prevented the attack and saved herself the stress, embarrassment, and oh my gosh, all the lost time that comes with suffering this type of attack. So the second half of EMAIL requires you to inspect links within the message. Like you did with the sender, hover your mouse over any link or hyperlinked text. Be sure that the link is truly directing you to the correct website. If it looks fishy, delete the email. You can always contact the organization directly and ask if they sent you the email. This is an action that needs to become part of your daily cybersecurity practices. Make it a habit so you can thwart off phishers without thinking about it. So these, look, I've got these up here for you. And you guys, I get stuff all the time. This one got mailed to me in the lower left-hand corner. As a resident of Illinois, you're entitled to more benefits not provided by government funds. You now have access to a 2020 state-regulated life insurance program, which may pay 100% of all final expenses. Okay, this is a scam. Okay, upper right-hand corner, these texts are coming out now because well, this one here says, Anna, $1,000 to help you past the outbreak has been pre-accepted. Okay, notice the poor grammar, but claim by clicking here, right? Do not do that, okay? Because what's happening today is a lot of people are now starting to get these scams related to the potential of getting this $1,200 credit from the federal government. And what they're asking you to do, that they may send you a text right to your phone, but it's a scam, okay? They're not gonna do it the government's not doing it that way. They're gonna say, click on this link and provide us your bank information so that we can deposit your check. They're not going to do that, okay? So on these outline bullet points here, I have a few extra ones for us to consider. Title fraud, checks from the government, and the coronavirus phishing. So I'm gonna start first with title fraud. And this is a newer phenomenon. It's not entirely new. It's been going on since 2007, but most recently, it's becoming more and more, people are becoming more and more vulnerable to title fraud. And again, I'm just making you aware of this, but if you put credit freezes on the three major bureaus, then you're going to be protected from this, but you can also take some other steps as well. So one, to help shield yourself against title fraud, check your credit report. Your credit report is a record of all loans and other activity taking place under your name. Make sure to monitor your report regularly. Also, watch your bills. If you didn't receive a tax bill, utility bill, or other expected bill in the mail, inquire about it right away, as stealing mail is a popular way for fraudsters to obtain sensitive information. Also, too, you guys, make sure you're shredding and destroying those types of documents. Every year at our office, we have a shred day, but you're welcome to drop off your stuff at our office any day. We have a highly secured system of shredding those types of important documents, okay? So you don't have to wait for shred day once a year. You can come at any time to our office except for when we're under quarantine, okay? Verify your home information. So visit, this is a way that you can check on your deed. Visit the county deed office or their website to verify that your name is still on your property. And then of course, protect your title. Remember the importance of purchasing a homeowner's title insurance policy whenever you purchase a home, whether it's the primary residence, vacation home, or other property. The report, a lot of the reports that I read said that people who own second or third homes have a higher risk because they're oftentimes not at that second or third home as much as they are in the primary home. So that's something that you really want to look after, those second and or third properties, okay? Checks from the government. haven't been sent out yet, all right? And so you want to be careful about, someone sending you an urgent message about hurry up, claim your check. This is from Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. She issues an urgent consumer alert following reports of federal stimulus scams. And I'm going to read this to you. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel today issued an urgent consumer alert urging Michiganders to be on high alert for bad actors aiming to coerce them out of their personal information in the new federal stimulus payment scam. Scammers are using the news that the federal government will send one-time payments to millions of people across the country as part of the federal economic relief response to COVID-19 to steal personal information. The Michigan Department of Attorney General has already received reports that residents are getting emails from websites appearing to be the official demanding that they provide PayPal bank account information or other financial information to receive the $1,200 federal stimulus payment. The Attorney General's office is reminding anyone who receives a text, email, or phone call from someone claiming to be from the government with a check for them that do not fall for it. These are fake phishing scams that will likely ask for a person's bank account information and insist $1,000 or more will be deposited directly into his or her bank account, okay? Don't fall for that scam. There is another scam that is going on somewhat related to this and the coronavirus, and it's actually quite alarming. And this is where I've heard that people in almost like a hazmat suit, right? So they look like they're very official. They have a bodysuit on, mask, goggles, and they're coming around to people's homes with a clipboard, checking on their health. And they're basically saying they're from the health department and they want to make sure that everyone is okay and they're not symptomatic. Well, through the course of that interview, they're asking you for personal information, all right? We need your social security number to verify it's you. Don't fall for that. The government is not coming to your doors and knocking on them and asking for that type of information, okay? So just be vigilant, look out for these scammers, be smart about things, don't do it quickly, use that 10-second rule or longer. And again, if it's somebody who is needs to get your information and you don't think it's legit, hang up, delete it. And if they are someone that is legitimate, they'll call you back. They'll contact you in another way, okay? Don't fall prey to these things, okay? All right, and then lastly, let's see if I can get here. Take action, all right? So now that you have the core knowledge to create your own personal cybersecurity plan, I hope you found the presentation helpful and informative in terms of your thinking and commitment to cybersecurity. Look over that reference guide and look at the checklist and look at the action plan, okay? Start completing these as you get them done. And then on the back, we have the password letter to symbol conversion chart. Maybe use that for creating unique passwords. And then lastly too, as we make these passwords more complex, and they're not very easy to remember, I strongly consider for you to use an application like LastPass or Number One Password as a database for your passwords. It is a very safe, secure network, and it's something that can greatly benefit you, especially when we're having to change passwords every 30 or 40 days. And we just can't possibly remember all of these emails, okay? All right, with that, I want to thank you for attending today. I don't see any more questions. Oh, hold on, I do have a couple. Be sure to answer the 2020 census online. If you haven't already, so a CB rep will not have to knock on your door. Oh, okay. So I did actually receive my census statement, and I followed the link to the census for the government, and I had that unique code that I had to put in, and I was able to answer all the questions there. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. And this is Kat. So Kat just chimed in. The wealth management tool does use two-factor authentication, okay? So your wealth management tool is a highly, highly secured program. They use the highest amount of security. They use more security than online banking uses. So they use double the amount of uh, well, it's, I want to say it's bits, but it's like 256 bits of encryption is what they use, which is double what your online banking uses. So it's a very, very strong and secured system. I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar, and I hope you are all safe and healthy. I do want to give you just a couple updates on our office. We are operating very efficiently. I am physically at the office. I am the only one here. Everyone else is working remotely, and it's working out as best as it can. So we're actually very efficient. We've been using this Zoom system. So every other day we check in and we do a big conference meeting. So we're all very up to speed on what's happening with our clients and what's happening with our operations and our systems. And Christina Perna has just been doing an outstanding job and keeping us all well connected together. And I know, we were just talking about, hopefully they were going to lift the ban April the 13th, but that looks like it's being extended. So we were already considering keeping the office closed for the entire month of April. So that is what we're going to do. The office will be closed the entire month of April. And we'll take it day by day from there. I mean, it could go into May, and we just don't know how long this virus is going to last. And being a smaller office like ours, we don't want somebody getting sick and then spreading it to 2 or 3 other staff members very quickly. So we want to make sure that we're operating with the utmost prudence and safety of our staff and safety of our clients. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I miss seeing all of your faces, and I really do look forward to the day we can all kind of get back together and do a public event where we can all see each other and meet each other in the office or at some other type of TL Financial Group social gathering, and really look forward to that day. But in the meantime, we're operating quite smoothly, and hope you guys are operating smoothly at home as well. With that, I don't see any more questions. Okay, I gotta, let's see. My iPad dropped the last part of your presentation. Oh, we'll await the email version. Thanks for the presentation. Oh yeah, you bet. And I got another thank you. You're very welcome. With that, I hope you're doing well. All right, keep an eye open for the next couple of weeks. I am gonna do another economic outlook webinar. Our investment strategy is still in defense mode. We don't believe that this recent stock market gain in the last few days is, we don't think that that is going to hold. We think once the economic data really starts to pour out, it's going to be very sobering. And this isn't going to be weeks, you guys, but it's going to be months. So we have to navigate through this very carefully. But our first phase of our investment approach has been absolutely outstanding, and I'm looking forward to reporting that to you guys individually. Some of you, I can see that you're in this class, that we've already talked to you, and many of you are surprised that your money is still there. Just kidding, but we didn't lose a whole lot because we went into a defensive mode that we believe was at the right time. So with that said, I'm gonna end. I want to thank you all for attending, and again, look forward to seeing you all very soon. Take care, and God bless you all.